You are now watching a Lucky Penny Shop product feature. Hey, it's Lucky Penny Shop. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to start a project and hopefully finish a project with you on one long video. It is a Scrimshaw Walrus Tusk. Make and display this unique reproduction of fine Eskimo art. It is a reproduction. It is plastic. You are not using real tusks to make this here. Etch and antique, two great designs, dog sled and kayak race. Now this is for ages 12 to adult, back in 1974. Now it looks like it was at some kind of thrift store or Salvation Army. That was their number, down to $5.60. I forgot what I paid for it. If I did, I don't remember. It was from a Lucky Penny Shop subscriber at least 3 or 4 years ago. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Well, we will see about that. Let me turn the box down. There's nothing on the back, but you can see the artwork here. I'm trying to get to the year. Right there, 1974 by the Milton Bradley Company. Now let's see if I have this the right way. Let's turn the camera back up and we will look inside the box. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, and action. So there is the complete kit, everything you need. And yes, it is plastic. Here's your plaster of Paris. This is your base. Now what's happening here, it took me a while to realize this, is that this is actually going to stay together. You're not just like pouring it in and then taking the case off, because this has all the some little designs in it. And then here's what you're going to, or I'm going to, trace on. I think we will see how that all works out. I'm going to take this project on probably over a course of a couple days. They give you some sandpapers, tools, this glue, which looks like a model glue, which is no longer adhesive, so I will use something else. And then they give you some paints, which are probably no good, but we will see. And then some kind of marker. What is that? Yes. Ooh, it's to etch it out and to etch out the design. Okay, very cool. This is something very new to me. I have never done anything like this before. I think that's it. I will double check later. So now I need to get these instructions out. Okay, yes. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, so there are my instructions. 3-piece molded styrene walrus tusk, molded base, adhesive brush, 2 rub-on transfer designs, etching tools, sandpaper. Okay, that's everything that's listed. Start by taking 1/2 of the tusk and lay it flat on your newspapers. Take the half of the tusk that has the wide end on the left and the narrow end on the right. Take the 2 rub-on decals and with scissors separate the 2 decals, then trim off the excess from around the decals. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I am going to start this project right up here. So let me come back, get my surface area set, and see how this works. All right, so they have you split the tusk because it is just a hollow plastic piece. And then they want this on this side. It looks like this way. And then they want the other one on the other side going this way. It looks like this is going to wrap around slightly. Now they want about 2.5 inches from the end. Let's just see. Separate the 2 decals, being careful not to cut away any part of the designs. Okay. Now I feel that this backing is already off, so that doesn't necessarily need to be there. Okay, so let's move this one over here. And then cut around close, but be careful not to trim into the design. So I will do that right now with you. Trim off the excess from around the decals, being careful not to cut away any part. Okay. Now how close, I do not know, but I will try to be careful here. I guess it doesn't have to be too close because you are going to just press it on. Now they say you can tape it down if you want. But it says once you start rubbing, it should hold itself in place. Remove the backing. Okay. Now, it says take the decal with the kayak race and remove the protective backing paper. Place the rub-on decal about 2.5 inches from the wide end of the tusk, as in figure 1. They actually show it quite far down, so about 2.5 inches. I would say that's about 2.5 inches. Now it says you could tape it. I think I will, just because it's older. And it probably has seen better days. Okay, so that's got to be moved down just a little. So this way the whole design goes on there. All right. And it says, place the rub-on decal. Okay, if you prefer a tape handy, you can use the small pieces to hold the decal temporarily in place. However, it is not absolutely necessary, as the decal will stay in place once you start rubbing on. Next, take the brush and using the rounded end. Okay, now I didn't see a brush. Maybe that's in the bottom here. No brush. No brush. Am I missing the brush? I did not notice that. Let's see what the list says. 2 rub-on decals, sandpaper, stain, plaster. Okay. Let me grab a brush. All right. I guess it does call for a brush. I saw it on the box, so I will contribute that to the project. And let me just grab another piece. I'm worried about the age of this and it not staying in place. All right, here we go. Let's just see what happens. Okay, it is staying down. Just like they said. Is it working? I don't know. I feel like it does want to stay down as you push. So carefully begin to burnish. Rub on the decal. Start at the left side, working your way to the center and out to the right side until all the design has been transferred. Okay. My guess is age is playing a factor in this, but it still seems like it is working. I feel like you could almost see where it goes from like a glossy to a flat. See that there? So it's going to take some time. So I've been reluctant to take this project on. A couple reasons. One, I was worried about being a tusk and people saying, "What are you doing?" And two, it's something I've never done before, so a little nervous about doing a project like this and exposing my non-talents. But I guess that's part of, growing in your experiences, so that's why today is the day. Okay, let me get you a little closer in. How's that? Okay, so it's coming up. You can kind of see there's a couple little spots that aren't completely down. So let me do that. Plus, I'm guessing it's not a project that you would just, hey, I'm going to make a Walrus Tusk Scrimshaw today. Probably not on the radar of a lot of people. But it is a Milton Bradley product, so to me that brings me right into the toy world. Pretty intricate, I must say. Now, I'm guessing that an artist would be doing this all freehand. I feel like there's a lot here that's not going into where I need it. I'm glad I put the tape down because I don't see it. Ooh, a couple spots right here. Staying on its own. Alright, I've been stopping here and there, taking little breaks to rest my hand. It's a lot of pressure. Now I'm looking at it, I wish I would have just moved this up another half an inch to about here. But now that it's on, hey, that's what it is. Alright, let's see if we can get the Walrus Tusks in there real nice. It looks like it's working. Let's peek in there. Okay, so most of it is sticking. I think what I'll do is I'll etch a little, like a little sun up here. Do my own little design there to kind of balance it out. Making my own art, I guess. Hard to do where the tape is, so that's probably another reason why they don't necessarily say you have to use it. Okay, let's just kind of peek underneath and see. All right, looks like it's doing pretty good. You can kind of see where it's not stuck down there. All right, been taking breaks here and there, looking for the areas that I need to touch up. I would say for the most part, though, it is pretty good. Okay, so a couple little areas right here. I'm sure it's a combination of this, with it's like transferring with the heat from the consistent rubbing, kind of softens that black material. Okay, let's see now. Okay, using the round end carefully begin to burnish. Rub on the decal, start at the left side, did that. Transfer the Plaster Tusk, then carefully remove the decal, checking to see all the lines in the design have been transferred. As you rub on the design, the dark lines of the design will appear lighter, indicating that the design has been transferred. Be sure all the design has been transferred before you carefully remove the decal. Next, take the other half of the tusk and the remaining decal, centered about 3 inches from the wide end of the tusk, and transfer the design as you did before. Okay, let's just see. I would say, for the most part, I got it. Look at that. Okay, a couple little spots here and there, but let's contribute that to age. All right, let me set up for the next side. All right, so I'm going to cut around this just a little bit more. Careful not affecting my design. And after this, it's the etching part, so that's going to take some time. So you're just going to have to bear with me, I guess. Okay. Now this one said 3 inches, so it's pretty far down. The design itself isn't swooped, it's straight, so that's probably the only way they can do that. All right, here we go. From this way to this way, from left to right. Let's get the first sled dog. I've decided to keep this as one long video. In the olden days, way back when, a lot of times we were initially splitting videos up because we didn't think, no one's going to watch a 1-hour video of a Scrimshaw Tusk and then split it up. But then people would watch part 1, and back then YouTube wasn't as efficient as trying to, put the next video up, and they couldn't find it, so they'd comment, hey, where's part 2? So I think I'm going to just leave this as one long video. I also don't think I'm going to speed it up, so you could hear all the little squeaky squeakies as I go here. Look at that little shadow of a tail there. Ooh, that was nice. Here, let me see if I can show you as it changes from the dark color to the light color. Got his ears. Now, I was thinking of using just super glue to glue this because the glue is out. The black, I don't know if it's any good. They call it stain, so I'll have to assess that. The plaster of Paris looks to be just fine. And what that's doing is giving weight to the whole tusk. So you're filling up this inside, leaving this design, and then it's going to stay filled with the plaster. When I first saw the kit, I thought to myself, no, you form it in the plaster and do it that way. But after studying a little bit, I realized, no, it's going to stay no longer a hollow tusk, it's going to be full. Why does it seem like this one's going quicker? I like doing the puppies' heads here. Let me show you that a little bit different angle. Camera's hitting the table, so it's shaking. Sorry about that. Make sure I get his little eye. Sorry. Well, that one came out better. So let's peel it up. I like that. That's the satisfying part. Look at that one. Okay, so now you say you have to be careful because you could take off some of the design. Okay, let's move on. There's my two right now. That was one of the coolest little processes I have done on video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let's see what the next step is. Oh, now you are ready to etch. Sweet. All right, remove the protective cap from the etching tool and hold it as you would a pen. Start to etch at the right side. Okay, so I guess they don't want you going this way. And then working your way to the left. This is so you do not actually rub off any of the transfer design with your hand. Okay. So if I'm going this way, then I might be hitting it. All right, so let's just see. Okay, be sure to apply enough pressure on the tool to... as you scratch out the design... one more step back. Carefully scratch over the design lines with the etching tool. As you scratch out the design, you will automatically be scratching a line into the plastic. Be sure to apply enough pressure on the tool to not only remove the design, but to actually cut into the plastic. These lines must be deep, in quotation marks, enough to hold the black stain you will apply later, and also the subsequent sandings that will follow. Etch the complete design, being careful not to accidentally rub off the transfer design. Before etching, a small straight edge such as a ruler or a plastic triangle may be helpful in following and etching some of the straight lines. Okay, here we go. Let's just see what happens. A little nervous here, but I will... So I am going into the plastic now. That does not look like it takes out all of the plastic. I mean the black. So that's why I said this will probably take me over a couple days. I'll keep checking back as I go through this. So basically, I just did this little area right here. I'm just scratching away. Now this looks a little thicker, so Okay, I am checking back in now. When I feel this, I know that I am, digging in. As to if it's enough, I don't know. I mean, I'm going pretty far on a lot of the spots, so I'm scraping it. And then it's pretty intricate. You've got a lot of little, like, pieces in here that are broken up in lines. So I could see this, it's been about a half hour, 45 minutes just to get this far. So I know it's not a rushing project. You just gotta take your time. But what I decided was that I would finish this half of the horn and then sand it and see if I am working this enough. I don't know. But I'm trying to be as intricate as possible. It just does take time. Like in this area here, it almost just seems like you just can scrape up a bunch of lines, and that should be enough to give you some variance in the horn. Boy, it's kind of reminding me of the dentist as you get your teeth scraped. So it's not pleasant sound. There's that little intricate back. Almost looks like the water's peeking over there. There's a little wake going on in the back. Now, a couple times I went off the line, and my lines I could tell were not straight. So you have this little rounded part up here. Couple times I went out of the camera area, so if you saw a jump in the video, it's because I moved out of the direction of my camera. Okay, a little bit more, and then I think I'll just go over some of the areas. Now they did have some texture in here. So remember when I said I was going to put like a little sun up here. So let's do that to kind of... There's my sun. Can you see it in there? Now, I don't know if those are going to be deep enough or not. Okay, I'm just going to take a little more time now, probably off camera. Continue to hit some of the lines. Some of the dark spots, like this one, maybe need a little bit deeper. So when I come back, I'm going to sand this down and see if it's deep enough. I feel it though. It feels pretty good. It's got an interesting texture to it where all the plastic is raised. Alright, I will come back. Alright, so reading here. Okay, after you do this one, then do the second one. Then it says sand lightly with the coarse sandpaper. Okay, now I noticed there were two grits, a 220 and a 320. So I'm assuming the 220 would be the coarser of the two. And let's just see what happens. Okay, yeah, big difference from here to here. My guess is that it's going to look pretty close to that when I get the black in there. Okay, nice. A little bit here. That feels good. A couple spots here. Okay, there we go. I think it's gonna turn out. Let me start etching this and I will check back. So the first one took me about an hour, so you figure to do both a good 2 hours of etching. And I'm trying not to edit it this as little as possible so that you get the full effect of me doing this. After you take a break and come back, you seem to go a little deeper for some reason. You got a little more hand strength. So it's good to take breaks, which I did. It does take a certain degree of hand pressure to do this. Working on his pants. And he's holding a rifle or some kind of gun. I can't imagine doing this with a non-tool. I wonder what they originally used. It must have been some type of sharp knife or... Alright, here we go. Good news. It looks like the black is still good because I opened it up and it got on my fingers, so I should be okay with that. Now the bases, these get plastered, and then they need these inserts put on top to kind of cover them. And then this cap piece goes inside there and gets glued on and held in with the plaster. So there's a lot going on here. Let me get started. It said put the whole bag of plaster in a container. That tab on there is really hard to get off. So I am going to just cut the bag. Okay? And then it wants a soup-like consistency. Okay. And let me get my mixer. I have this set so that I can pour from the top. Get my camera up there a little bit. And I'll do the bases first. Turn the two plastic bases upside down and fill them about 1/8 an inch from the top. And immediately insert the two die-cut cardboard base pieces. Okay, soup-like consistency. Can you see that okay? Probably not. Let me turn this down a little. We'll start with just a little water and then... Okay, that's definitely just a little water. I'm going to keep adding. Smells like plaster. Old plaster. Okay, that looks good. That looks like it's going to be enough water. Maybe a little bit more. Just a little. Now I'm going to add slowly. Now I did put a little more tape around my horn. Just to make sure. It's been sitting for about 15 minutes. Okay, definitely going to keep adding. I don't want to get too crazy here. That's probably the consistency, but it's not all the way through. A little bit more. Real close, I think. I might add just a tiny bit so it pours a little better. I would say it's a little thicker than soup right now. More like a pudding. Just a little bit more. Nice chunky soup. What do you think? I'm going to say just a tad bit soupier. Soup would pour more than this. This seems to have a little bit thicker of a consistency. Okay. Wow, I think it just needs a little bit more. I keep saying it's right, but it doesn't pour, so it seems to have... There we go. I think that's it. I'm going to stop at that. Well, actually, look at the picture. The picture makes it look really thin. See that? I'm going to go a little more. There, I think that's better. Okay. Let's get these in here about 1/8 inch from the top. Okay, here we go. All right, number 1. Okay. Number 2. I just don't have a good angle here for this. Let me bring my camera down a little. I almost think just a little bit more. I know I keep saying it, and I keep saying it, but it's probably just starting to thicken up. All right, let me just work a little faster here. A little bit more in this one. Okay, that's pretty close. Okay, those are done for now. Let me reset, come back here. And all right, so I've added just a little bit more moisture into that. Here we go. Looks like there's going to be plenty. Tap this down. Oh, is it heavy? Let us keep going. Yeah, I think it's just setting up. Don't want to add any more water to that. You can just feel it. Okay, that is about 2 inches. So let me just keep tapping it. Okay, it's definitely much heavier now. I clean this off. Okay, and they actually want it stored the other way. So once I glue the lid on the top, let me dip this in the water slightly here. Just trying to clean out that edge before I glue it. Doesn't look like it's leaking anywhere, so that held up pretty good. All right. Now, let's see. Now turn the tusk so that, okay, immediately apply adhesive around the inside edge of the tusk and place the cone-shaped plastic piece in a position at the end of the tusk, okay? Man, they sure don't make this an easy project, do they? Am I out? Oh no. Oh no. My last one. No. I'm not sure I have enough glue. Oh, there we go. Let me set that here. Okay. Just going to use the rest of this glue up here. All right. Now, it says, now turn the tusk so that it stands on the end so that's the cone shape. End that has the cone shape. This will allow the plaster to run down into the cone sides for a stronger bond. Do not handle until the plaster dries completely. I'm going to let that just sit for a minute. It does say you can tape it up again. So it's going to warm up. It should dry completely in about an hour. If any plaster is left over, discard by wrapping up in a newspaper. Never rinse down the sink. Okay. Well, I will come back at another date. Probably tomorrow. Clean this up. Tape it. Okay, they're going to want it stored like this. It doesn't want to stand like that. Let's see if it'll go in the jar. It will. Okay. So I'll be back. Okay, so we have just finished down here, but figure 11 goes up there. Now that is all done. Do not wash the plaster down the drain. Wrap it up and throw it away. Now it says sand the whole tusk lightly using long horizontal strokes. Okay, so let's get this out. It is pretty heavy. Taking off all the tape. Now it looks like, oh no, good. I thought there was going to be some tape residue. Remember I made those little tabs so it's easier for me to try to take the tape off. My concern too is this seam here. I want to definitely sand that to try and get rid of as much of that as possible. Ooh, it ripped. So it's definitely got some meat behind it. That's why I make those tabs, see? Then you don't have to go through that. Let me see if I could salvage this, otherwise I've got some extra sanding to do here. Oh, okay. Oh, tabs on this side. Okay. So I will start with a fresh piece. Let me just start with this coarser one. I'm going to focus really just on this seam right now. I'm afraid you'll probably always see it unless you went a step further and filled it in. Oh, is that a piece of tape? It is. Let's get that out of there. It's causing interference. There we go. Pull this up. I have some sanding blocks in my stuff. Now they say it kind of roughs it up for the staining. It's also getting off the tape residue, any glue spots. Fingerprints and anything else that you got on there. It's cleaning up real nice. See if we can do this one this way. Okay, you can kind of see that seam there. It's raised up in a couple spots, so I guess that's going to take some more work. Now, what were they saying about this end? Okay, I got more sandpaper, so I'm just gonna keep going here. Oh, I did put some down on my tabletop. Okay, and I'm going to switch to the fine. Oh, I don't like that spot there. That looks like glue residue. Okay, gone. All right. Ooh, a little bit more of the fine. Ah, nice and smooth. Okay. Now, let me just get some of this dust up because we don't want it here when we're working. And then I wanted to clean these off. And then let's get this. Okay, there you go. A little bit on my hands. Nothing like a little Windex to clean your hands. Okay, next. Well, that's set. Here, let's just temporarily prop it up. So that's kind of what we're going for. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. Using the long, okay, here we go. Sand all around. Did that. In the cone shape, this will cut minute lines into the plastic to help hold the stains. Wipe clean with a damp cloth to remove any residue. When this is done, you're ready to apply the black stain. Using a soft cloth or a tissue around your finger with a very small amount of black stain, rub the black into all the etched areas on both sides of the tusk. Rub in well so that you can actually see the lines. Now rub off all excess black with a clean paper towel, being careful to remove any of the black from the etched lines. Be careful not to remove. The more black you remove from unwanted areas now, the less you'll have to sand off later. Now set aside the tusk and let the black dry, preferably overnight, or at least 2 or 3 hours. Okay. Now take the 2 brown wooden-like bases and rub black on them. Be sure that black is rubbed into the wood grain etched lines with the paintbrush. Apply a coat of adhesive to the bases. Where am I applying the adhesive and why? Brush in the same direction as the wood grain. The black will run and create a streaked wood color. Let dry. Wash your brush with warm soap and water. When the black stain is dry on the tusk, sand the whole surface area with fine sandpaper so only the black etched lines remain. Okay, let me get some cloth fabric. I will come back and I will get the black coating on. Okay, decided to wear gloves because whatever got on my fingers last time, just from checking it out, has actually stayed on my fingers even after multiple washings. I will have to upgrade my cleaning. Okay, so rub this in. Let me just put some on the end here. Wipe that off and get it in all the etchings on my piece around your finger. Okay, here we go. See where I touched it here? It's already on there. Oh boy, that's really staining in there. Now that is one stainy thing. My little son. Trying to get in all these little grooves here. Now I see why. That's going to be a lot of sanding. Let's see if I can get a little bit better into that. Those little cracks there. Okay, that's better. see these down here. See these? Now, let me switch to a paper towel. I just want to see if I can get more of this black off. No, it will not come off. Hence the sanding. Okay, let's switch it around. I'm going to do this and see if I can get it less on the tusk and more in my etching. It could be too that the stain is just old. It's more concentrated now. Looks like it's only half of the container. Okay, being careful not to remove any of the black from the etch lines. Very difficult to do, but it's still in my etch lines. You can see it in there, so let me let this dry. I'm guessing that it already feels... Here, let me just take a little sandpaper and just see if I just go over... Okay, yeah, look at that. I was worried there for a second, but it does appear to come off pretty easy. I think I might leave a little bit more in the lines so that it's a little more pronounced instead of let that dry first and then come back and give it a light sanding. Otherwise, I'm going to do the bases now, so let me do a little extra work here. That sit just a second and then wipe it. Okay. Moving right along. On to the bases. Okay, now black on the bases. But let me just use the brush for some of this. I have to change adhesives too. I don't have any. Remember that I ran out and then the kit was all dry. But this is going to give it some kind of aged look, I guess. The whole idea, it did say later on that it's okay that the tusk has a slight black hue. Adds to the whole look. After you sand it. We want that aged kind of look to it. Okay. That is that. And then adhesive. Okay. I got some different glue here. It's Gorilla Glue. So let's see what this does. If it does anything or not. Okay, let's see. Be sure that the black is rubbed on the wood grain etched lines. Okay, so let me... Oh, that looks cool already. See that? Kind of has a woody look to it. Wow, that does look like wood. You know what? I'll try a little section, but I'm not sure this will be the best glue for this. supposed to look like drippy, but I think it already looks pretty cool. I'll just do a test spot and let that dry and see. I don't know if it does much. I kind of like it. So I'm going to leave it. There's still one more color after this. Oh, I was editing a video and I hear my breathing, so I don't know. I haven't decided yet if what I'm gonna edit, what I'm not gonna edit, but it's like, well, I'm etching. I know you can't avoid it. You have to breathe. Oh, it came out. Hey, that's cool. Okay, well, let me get some of that. At least you know that worked. Okay, there we go. Now I gotta let this dry, come back and sand this because there's still another coat I have to put on of the brown. Okay, so I did fill in the end. I forgot the first time. And I am now just sanding this up. It did say that it's going to have a grayish hue in spots because of the initial sanding. Don't forget there's one more coat of like a brown. I think that's still causing me issues on my table. Here, let me put this down. Okay, so you can see where I etched now, and I did extra etching where it was lots of little lines, and you get the shadowing of the tails. You know, perfect? No, definitely not. I don't think, you know, ultimately they were looking for perfection. I'm just guessing it was a nice remembrance or of an event. Now look at that. That's looking pretty cool, I think, with the brown on there. Right now, it did say originally use the fine, so I wanted to get that initial layer off there. Okay, now I need to do this again with the brown. Which will give it that even more aged look. Now I will have to sacrifice where it said I needed to coat the whole thing in the adhesive. I was looking at the adhesive to see what ingredients were in it. And one of the ingredients is in Gorilla Glue, but not the glue I had. So I think that ultimately is a sealer. But, you know, that's just the way it's going to work out today. Okay, I'll come back then once I feel like I have this where I need it. Yeah, there you go. And then let's do the brown. All right, so the next steps is, again, using a soft cloth or a tissue around your finger and using a very small amount of the brown, rub the brown stain over the entire tusk, including the cone shape, as evenly as possible, rubbing horizontally from left to right to give a blended or graduated effect from light at the narrowest, okay, and darker at the wide end. Let the brown dry through at least a few hours. Next, apply a thin coat of adhesive to the whole tusk. So that I will not be able to do. Let's just mix this up. I don't know if it's supposed to be this color brown, but we're going to use it. Now I'm guessing that, you know, it's dried out over time. Let's just put some on there. I'm going to do a little bit different. I'm going to use a paper towel and a light coat over the whole thing. Ooh, look at that. See how that's changing it now? Heavier and darker up there. I need more. There, I like that better. That has that kind of old bone look, doesn't it? Even though it's technically a tooth. I did not sand in there, so that's going to be darker naturally. Okay. I think that's kind of what we're going for. Get a little bit more on this tip. Okay, and maybe just a little darker up here to some spots. Look at my homemade sun. Okay. Look at that. Remember, this one's offset, so I kind of did my own little sun there in the corner. Okay. Happy with that. Looks very bone-like. tell you what though, let me just rest it on these instead of flat on the surface here, and I'll let it dry. Now it did want a coat of adhesive on the whole thing, but at this point I cannot do that. Alright, I may just play around a little bit, but I think I have it where I want it, so I will come back when it's thoroughly dry. Alright, it is here. My Scrimshaw Walrus Tusk is done. Look at the box compared to mine. And the more I was looking at it, the more I'm like, hey, you know, I think I did okay looking at the way they etched it and the way I etched it. I have to say, the etching was the hardest part. That's the one thing that I did struggle with the most. Now, a couple things. One, the glue. You're supposed to put it over everything, and I think that is important. It seals it up and locks in the color. Now let me just lift this up and take it off of here. Now these keep coming out of the bases. I'm not sure what I can do differently there. Oh, I just wanted to show you a nice close-up of their artwork there so that you can see how they etched, and then now I will give you a close-up of mine. And then I did notice that the bases themselves are different. One is thicker. The one on that side is a little wider and then a little skinnier on those two. Can you see the difference? It is there. So that you can place it like this. Wider there, skinnier there. And then let me zoom in. And then what I'll do is I'll do a quick video edit as close as I can. So you could see that. And then, oh, I did want to get a weight. Why do I want to show you the weight? Because it's pretty substantial when you weigh it. Get this up here, this one, and then this one. Oh, let me zero that out. Okay, once I take it off, you will see the actual weight is 1 pound, 10 ounces. So it's pretty heavy from being filled with plaster. Well, let me show you the other side now. Oh, I gotta go this way. And you tell me what you think. My little sun that I created up here, that's my own little etching addition. I kind of like how the little lines are there. Oh, by the way, to everybody that contributed to the poll, I put up a poll in the middle of the last few days asking everybody if I should just leave the entire video full length. Now I did have to cut it down, so it's not officially the full length, but it will be the longest video in Lucky Penny Shop history. I do want to show you the end. I will need to bring in one of my lights just a little, so you can see how cool that looks inside. Now I'm moving my light. I don't do this often, but I want to show you inside how neat that looks at this level. I don't know if officially that's what a tusk looks like from the end, but I don't know. Just look cool. So there you go. I like both sides, but I think I like this side better. I'll just leave it like this, even though the base is wrong. I do like the scene on this one. And thanks for watching. For everybody that's stuck with me through the whole video, I appreciate it. What do you think of this project? It looks like here, yeah, it's still a little bit. You can get a little fingerprint, so I'm going to be very careful now and let this sit for a few days. And thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for sticking with me through the whole thing. It'll be the longest video in history, like I said, for Lucky Penny Shop. Later.
If you're looking for the item you just saw in the video, click here. Watch more videos by clicking here. Don't forget to share on social media and give a thumbs up.
Hey, LPS Dave.
What's up, Butch?
Make sure they don't forget to subscribe.
Oh yeah, please click here to subscribe to Lucky Penny Shop. And always remember, when you see a lucky penny,
Pick it up.